I introduced the film at Sundance, and Holly, who was the then president, and Martha Adams, the creative director, who's still the creative director, we spoke about how we were going to go globalize and basically achieve scale with this model of creating awareness. The whole concept of telling this film was to create awareness so that people feel moved enough to want to do something. You can't do anything if you don't have information and knowledge, because that is key and that is gold. So we decided that we were going to find ways in order to go global. And the first thing I said to them was, what about India? What about my home country? What about my home, actually, where I feel there's much to be done, where I feel the country is actually ready. We're technologically getting super advanced. Everybody watches TV. Well, I just read statistics that on a daily basis, it's about 2.5 or 3 hours of television that is watched in every household. And yes, and our youth are raring to go. Our media is raring to go. What about India? And I had no idea they would take me seriously. It was taken seriously, and rightfully so, Girl Rising India was launched.
It is a little tricky one. I just feel like using any platform, whether brands promoting movements. Personally, I feel any opportunity to promote this cause is a good one. But of course, there is a lot of trickiness about brands promoting equality, whether there is a bias, because we've seen some case studies of that as well. But I would still feel that any opportunity to promote is a good one.
I don't see how equality could be a bias, but...
Yeah. I think there needs to be also consistency. It can't just, when brands promote, I guess, a cause, they're also promoting themselves in a way, which is not a bad thing. However, when the consistency of it fails, I think that's when there is a loss of faith from consumers, buyers, and from the people they're trying to affect. And I have my own personal experience with a certain brand, which I don't wish to name, but it was a sanitary pad brand that did a test in Uttar Pradesh, and they supplied girls with sanitary pads for about a year, just to test if that would increase the number of girls going to school. And the second year onwards, they couldn't fund the campaign, which it was really surprising. I mean, you're just providing sanitary pads and you're telling me you can't fund it. And it was not a monetary thing, it was just that they needed to expand somewhere else. And so they cut the supply in the second year. So there was this whole group of girls entering puberty, and a couple of girls for a year who had enjoyed the comfort of actually having a sanitary pad and not a cloth, who were just shocked and disappointed and disrupted because of it, because they suddenly felt that this was it. The candy was taken away from them, and that was very disappointing.
Deep-rooted stereotype. That we have, and this is what our campaigns, working towards, just breaking that gender stereotypes. Just last month, actually, we were in the villages in interiors of UP, and we played this little exercise of, what girls and boys wanted to be. And, girls were coming up with this slate and, writing with chalk saying, Prime Minister, surgeon, doctor, and they were boys who, want to be singer, chef, and so it's just so created, but it really, really need to break. It's a stereotype that we need to break away from.
I guess it goes deep down into the boys don't cry, girls play with dolls.
Exactly, and there's just so much pressure, I think, on the boys also.
Yes.
I mean, they're just not supposed to be crying because they're boys.
Global Citizen, the international team. So I'm really glad that it's finally happening. I think the main purpose is to make sure that the people of India are aware of what we are up against in terms of the obstacles and how we can actually overcome it. It's great for corporate India to come in and actually finally show a commitment, but this time your commitment is accountable, because you're making this announcement in front of 80,000 people at the concert, but then we're also going live on television, so that way everybody across the nation will actually see your commitment and will hold you accountable. So that's really, really good. So I think it's really important for things like this to actually happen on scale. Okay, let's just, now that I have all these cameras and mics in my face, let me just try to put an end to this. I don't think there's ever an end to this, right? Okay. Mujhe Hindi films mein kaam... Huh? Oh God. She asked me the question, so I'm looking at her, obviously. Okay, I have no problems working in Hindi language films. In fact, I have worked in Hindi language films to the extent that I've done a half Marwadi film as well, and I couldn't even speak Marwadi, but with Krishna I had to learn how to speak Marwadi. Dhyan Rakjo. I had to learn all these things. But the thing is, it's not about who is in the film. It's the story for me. So I actually have a fantastic film coming out next year by first-time filmmaker Tabrez Noorani, who is Indian.